Welcome back. Today you can tell I'm recording from the office, or, well, the interior. But that's because this episode is about the interior, or at least how to quiet the interior, make it a more comfortable living space while you're going to and from wherever you're going, and making sure you get to the trails without being beaten up and death, unless you invited your wife along. Luckily, she doesn't watch these videos. Anyways, I know what some of you guys are saying, and this is a Jeep Wrangler. It's supposed to be big and burly and loud and noisy and rough, and honestly, it doesn't have to be. I mean, Jeeps have come a long way. I used to own an '88 Wrangler, and at freeway speeds, you couldn't even talk to the person next to you. It was just so loud and noisy. I rode a motorcycle for 10 years, so I know all about loud and noisy. And you know what? I'm in my 40s, 40-something, and I'm done with loud and noisy. Besides, this modification is free and it's not going to affect your value or your off-road capabilities. Honestly, it's not even a mod. It's a great tip. It's a great tip that I've learned on the JL forums, which is a great resource that anybody that owns a Jeep JL needs to check out. The whole point of this is it doesn't take a whole lot of work or effort to mitigate some of these noises, especially if you have the hardtop. Now, I know I did the inserts and these are great, more for visuals, but they're not really going to be solving the overarching problem. And for that, we're going to have to go a little bit deeper into what causes these road noises. And there's three major causes. The first major cause is what I call road noise, which is the tires slapping the ground. And you know, the stock tires are doing pretty good. They're not too loud, but once you start getting bigger tires and more aggressive tires, or anything with mud in the name, they're going to get a lot louder. You're going to be dealing with a roar. You're going to be dealing with a lot of more road noise, and there's really nothing we can do about that. The second one is going to be what I call drivetrain noise, which is your engine, which is your transmission and your exhaust. And the V6 and the 2.0 liters are actually pretty quiet engines. They're not too loud. You can definitely hear them when you get onto them, but they're not obnoxious. And especially with the 2.0, you want to hear that turbo a little bit. So hey, we don't want to quiet that thing down. But there's the third, which I call chassis noise, which is squeaks, which is rattles, which is basically anything that's not tied down or constructed well. Basically the interior causing the noises that you're hearing. And that's going to be what we're going to be talking about today, is dealing with some of the interior noises. And one of the biggest cause of that noise is the hardtop itself. And in order to show you that, I'm going to have to take you back there. And welcome to the back of my Jeep. And this is not exactly a view I get to see very often, since I'm always in the driver's seat. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to the matter at hand, which is the major cause of the noise that we're getting from the hardtop, the cabin noise. And as you can see here, I actually have two panels here. Now this actually doesn't help to really mitigate any of the sound, because what we're dealing with is a lot of bass sound, a lot of big thumping sound, and these panels really don't do anything. They help absorb some of the mid and the high range, but they're not going to be able to do anything for bass. And that's what we're dealing with, is a lot of this big booming noise that we're hearing while driving down the road. And what's causing that is a giant subwoofer that you didn't know you had. And if you got the hardtop, you automatically got this massive subwoofer that is not connected to your stereo. What it is your ceiling right here. Now, what I'm talking about is, what is a subwoofer? Basically, I have one back there, and if you look at it, it's just a really large diaphragm that moves at a slower frequency to create that bass. And what your ceiling is a really large diaphragm that moves slowly while going over speed bumps or any type of terrain that moves slowly. And I don't know if you can see it from the camera. I'll try to get a close-up position, but watch this. If I move move the ceiling, you can see the whole ceiling actually flexes. Bumps that you go over the road is going to start flexing the ceiling. And if I tap on it, you can hear that bass. You're going to hear this bass as you go over the road. Now, I found this out by the JL forums and reading some what other people have started to do to help quiet this hardtop. And what people are starting to do is put bracing up here so this whole ceiling component doesn't flex while you're driving, and that is how you're going to solve a lot of your noise issue, is to keep this area from flexing. I'm going to show you how to do it for free without having to drill, without having to create braces, without having to do anything. And all it involves is a towel. Yeah, it's that simple. And really what you're going to do is just roll the towel up and jam it in there between your rear roll bar and your hardtop. Now that is going to help dampen some of these flexes, so you're going to get a lot less bass while you're driving. Let's go ahead and drive it out and check out a before and after and see if we can hear the differences between with the towel up here and without.
As you watch me in the background drive around and recording some audio for this video, I just wanted to go over some personal observations. First and foremost, this is not going to turn your Jeep Wrangler into a luxury vehicle. It's not going to be the silver bullet that'll quiet everything down, and it just, overall, it seems to just help. You'll definitely notice a lot less bass generally driving around, and especially over rough terrain or bumps. And one thing you will notice too, interestingly enough, is more wind noise. And I think this is more due to the fact that you're hearing less bass that would cover up the wind noise. I think a lot of the wind noise is just air leaking through the freedom panels, and we can probably find something to take care of that too. For this test, I'm just using my cell phone's high gain microphone in order to record the audio. I know it's not the best test, and I actually was going to hire my audio engineer friend to come out and do this whole episode with me, but it's kind of hard to do social distancing on the inside of a Jeep, so I decided to nix that whole idea. Now, ultimately, it's not going to be a night and day drastic change between before and after, but I'm pretty sure if we do a side-by-side comparison, you're going to notice a difference. So let's go ahead and check that out.
The road test done, what's the conclusion? Well, it's really too hard to really tell. Now, the thing is that I was hearing a lot less bass, a lot less buffeting type of noises, but I was hearing wind noises a little bit more, but I think that's because of the general noise of the hardtop was actually being covered by the wind noise, which is basically wind seeping through the freedom panels. And it's really hard to tell, but I think I like it a lot better with the towel up there. And it might also depend on towel rolling techniques or positioning, how tight you get it, and a couple of little things like that. I'm going to be playing around with it a little bit, but I like the results. And it's one of those things that, what do you got to lose? Well, besides a spare towel. And it's just one of those things that could improve your daily life. I suggest try it yourself, see if you like it or not. You know, just jam a towel up there. And hey, it's nice to have a spare towel handy, you know, in case, you know, your dog finds a mud puddle and you want to dry him off beforehand. You might want to take down your sound dampening device and dry him off before getting him in your Jeep. Keep you from having to hose down the Jeep interior again. And it's just one of those things that is just a really quick, easy tip that you can try yourself. Now, what I'm really interested in is hearing your results. Now, it's a 5-second thing, so go out, try it, see what it's like, and down below, comment if you notice an improvement, if you don't, if you think it's worth having an extra towel handy. Now, what I'm really interested in is hearing your guys' comments. Go ahead and try it yourself and comment below whether you notice a difference, positive, negative, and just generally let me know, give me some feedback, what you think of it. Well, that about wraps up this episode, and as always, stay home, stay safe until this corona stuff is gone, and when I do see you on the trails, make sure to keep the shiny side up.